This is a free sample of the book Don't Give a Shit and Succeed by Cairo Copeland. The first half of this book is posted right here on YouTube, free for everyone to listen to. If you like this content and want to hear or read the rest, or want to listen to it free of ads, visit reinventideal.com/stoic. The book is available on Kindle, paperback, and Audible at reinventideal.com/.
Chapter 4. Energy-draining tendencies to trim. Mate guarding and sexual jealousy are not only draining of your internal resources, they are also a huge turnoff to the women you guard. It's something her father did to her when she was a teenager, resulting in her hating him. Why would you want to recreate that dynamic now with her? One day in Cocoa Beach, I was very close to closing the deal with one particular pretty whom I met randomly that day. While I was out in the ocean swimming in the waves, she popped up next to me. As we were out there, we were chatting up and got a good conversation going. This looked like a rare positive event that resulted from randomness, but one giant douchebag didn't see it that way. Back on the beach, a group of guys surrounded one really pissed off looking guy, all of whom were watching me and the pretty young thing. We were on our way out of the water and back to my beach towel so I could get her number, but one of the guys from the gang came in to pull the old cock block. Turns out, the super angry guy was the girl's boyfriend that she clearly wasn't happy with, and Pissy Boy sent one of his friends to cockblock me from her. As you may have guessed, I never got her number, but I did get a middle finger and a fuck you look from the Pissy boyfriend. He clearly has a need for strong mate guarding skills, because it was all too easy for me to get his girlfriend to flirt with me. On the drive back with my friend accompanying me to the beach that day, I remember saying, "What a douchebag," and he replied, "Well, of course, you were going after his girl, and knowing you are an actual threat to him because you could have stolen her." "That's so funny to me," I said, "because he doesn't own her. But if, say, I were to pet his dog and give it a treat, his dog would probably like me more in that moment, but he wouldn't get his panties in a wad over that, despite the fact that he actually owns his dog." "Girlfriends are something different," my friend replied. "But why?" I said. That was an honest question from me. After my red pill awakening, I had learned to view all women in my romantic life as replaceable accessories. That may sound cold and disrespectful, but I don't see it that way. I think that you are far more loving and respectful of a woman when you don't forcefully impose a bond on her to you with an invisible chain. It's more complimenting of her to allow her the freedom to be with anyone she wants, and more complimenting of you when she's with you by her own volition rather than obligation. If my girlfriend didn't think I was the best she could do, then I don't want anything to do with her. If she feels she's settling with me, then I know bitchy behavior and pointless drama will be dropped on me by her. So I never mate guard or get jealous. But it also comes from having a deep understanding of women and how they work, as taught to me by my red pill awakening, that if she chose to bail out on me, I could replace her shortly after. Further, in my early days of being on the prowl after the awakening, when I was developing my own skill set in the craft of allurement, I saw many taken, engaged, and even married women fall for my allure. Of course, no guy would want to learn by surprise that what he thought was securely his could be easily taken from him. But if that's even the case, wouldn't he like to find out? Is it not a service to your fellow man to show him that the woman he supplicates to and loves unquestionably does not reciprocate the same love and loyalty to him? It may make you angry at first, but considering the intensity of her betrayal, why on earth would you want to cling to her and keep the alluring thief away? If your mate is so easily made into a turncoat, is she really worth mate guarding? It would be like George Washington's Continental Army still protecting and clinging to Benedict Arnold after his betrayal, or Morpheus trying to rekindle his relationship with Cypher in The Matrix after his treachery, or the United States government paying billions of dollars to an enemy in exchange for a deserting soldier they captured. You'd think they wouldn't give a sliver of a shit about these traitors, but they do. And the reason they do originates from so many deep sources. Sexual jealousy and mate guarding motives come from outdated biological hardwiring, a scarcity mindset, and the blue pill conditioning. Starting out with outdated biological hardwiring, this one goes all the way back to the Neolithic Age, better known as the Stone Age. In them days, you would only survive if you were part of a small group, a tribe. Cooperation and coordination were some of the few things that kept the primitive-minded humans alive back then, in the hunter-gatherer days. Likely, that tribe was made up of 30 humans. How many women do you think existed in the group? In that tribe, half of the members might have been female, so there's 15. Among those 15, a third may have been too old to help you with your sex drive, and another third would have been too young to help you with it. Among the remaining 5, all but 1 were already taken. The Neolithic caveman version of you in this example was legitimately low on options. Back then, males learned to mate guard, because the one mate they did get was likely the only option they had to help them with their reproductive problem. When you feel the urge to guard your woman or cockblock for a woman that isn't even yours, this is your inner caveman taking over. Can you really think of any action driven by your inner caveman that is beneficial for you? He's unmannered, rude, thoughtless, easily provoked, and the king of simps, albeit primitive simps. Let him take the wheel that drives your mind and behaviors, and you'll soon regret it. But the inner caveman cockblocking received reinforcement in the agricultural age. While mate guarding was spawned during the hunter-gatherer times, sexual jealousy came to be when humans began to rely on the farm for food. With farming being the source of survival, it was in your best interest to get married so you could have kids, because kids would be a great help around the farm. During those days, a man needed to have paternity certainty. If it were found out that what he thought was one of his kids was really another man's, that meant he had one less helping hand on the farm, which also meant less chance of survival, or at least less chance of thriving. Having kids was great advice back in the 19th century, but it's horrible advice now. Since you don't have to plow the field for food, you don't need paternity certainty. Nor do you need the sexual jealousy that was inspired by it. Guarding your mate was a good idea back in the Stone Age, but it's unnecessary now, because women are not scarce, but your time is. Do you want another second of it wasted with a woman that was so easily seduced away from you? The scarcity mindset has you believing that a girlfriend is not easy to get, so you feel better hanging on to the one you have with all your might. It's likely there was a lot of rejection before you found one that humored you with a relationship, and that taught you that you must cling to her and guard her love for you with your life. But a quick trip to a college campus, shopping mall, yoga studio, dance ballroom, or a beach will show you otherwise. Often, in these places, women will outnumber men at least 2 to 1, as most males are content to stay indoors, playing video games, and looking at porn. Since males learned they could provide for themselves what they originally wanted with women, many of them have checked out of the scene. That's part of why pornography offends some women so much. It has robbed them of their number one bargaining chip to get males to grant their wishes and bend to their will. Unless you live in a small town in the middle of the sticks, you are surrounded by women that are likely dissatisfied with the number and quality of their dating options, and if you live in such a small town, you can always move out of it if you really want to. However, the fempowerment mandate noticed that there was no longer a legitimate need for the mate guarding of the Neoliths, nor the jealousy of the farmer boys. Before males collectively realized that and abandoned their inaccurate scarcity beliefs, a new spell was cast on them: the blue pill. The blue pill is the cultural conditioning you've received ever since you were old enough to understand the difference between boys and girls, men and women. It was all the teaching and encouragement you received from parents, teachers, clergy, movies, music, TV, and various other media on how best to interact with females. The blue pill is largely responsible for the simp pandemic that exists today. It is why the world is a simp factory. It conditions males to fail with women and in life by giving them the wrong beliefs about how women are and why they behave the way they do. It will have you believing that they are pure angels from heaven that can do no wrong. Thus, they need to be protected by you from other males. This practice is also known as white knighting, when a guy stands up to other males for a woman, all in hopes of improving his chances with said woman. But how this relates to sexual jealousy is that the blue pill is what encourages you to direct your anger at other guys instead of the woman that legitimately caused you to be angry. Suppose you caught your wife or girlfriend cheating on you with another man. Who are you angry at? Him or her? Most of the time, the poor victim of infidelity says, "I'll kill him," directing their rage at the other guy. But what they fail to realize is that he was just doing what every guy does, and that's get all the sex they can from anywhere they can get it. He may have not even known about the infidelity, but she knew damn well what she was doing. Yet most males in this situation do not direct their rage at her, and that is the power of the blue pill. But all this energy and effort being burned up is a waste, and one less thing you should ever give a shit about. The only person that needs to be insecure about their mate and guard them with all their might is someone who feels they could not readily replace that mate. When you have reinvented yourself into the best version of yourself, the version that is red pill aware and knows the craft of allurement, you know that anyone who leaves you can be easily replaced. But when you are this best version of yourself, you are also less likely to be left. The jealousy you feel is nothing more than remnants of an obsolete function of the mind from a time when childbearing women were scarce, and this served as a survival and replication mechanism. If a woman is so easily stolen from you, she is not a woman worth guarding. And as far as jealousy goes, you showing jealousy only justifies them giving you a legitimate reason to be jealous. If you get angry when your girlfriend is not cheating on you, but just talking to another guy, she figures she may as well cheat on you, because there'll be no difference in the way you treat her. You're already losing your shit now when she's not doing anything shady. May as well have the affair, and get some enjoyment out of it, since you're acting like a jerk either way. In the Red Pill Consortium, we have a phrase, "She's never really yours. It's just your turn." This isn't as nihilist as it sounds, though. What's really being said here is that everything you own isn't really yours. It's just here on a temporary loan. You yourself are not a permanent, immortal being. Your existence is temporary. If you live 97 years, that's only 35,000 days. Doesn't sound like a lot. Do you really want to waste a single one of them distressing over something that was always temporary? Even if you end up marrying her, the marriage is temporary too. One of you will always die before the other, but the more likely outcome is you get divorced, or worse, stay married but fall out of love. Humility is a key value frequently referenced by Taoism. In this case, to not give a shit about mate guarding and jealousy is to have the humility to recognize that everything we have is not really ours, especially another human. Even everything that we are has been given to us as a gift. Nothing belongs to us, not even our own bodies. Like the air that fills our lungs, everything we experience is on a temporary loan to us, and eventually we'll have to give it all back. If even the air that fills your lungs, essential to your existence, is not owned by you, how then can you act as though another person is your property? If she wants to have an inferior man night, let her have an inferior man night. More than likely, the next guy she sleeps with will be some thirsty simp that drools all over her like a needy puppy. She'll gladly come crawling back to beg you for your acceptance again. When that happens, who do you think has more ownership of the frame now?
Thank you for listening to this free sample of the book Don't Give a Shit and Succeed by Cairo Copeland. If you enjoyed it and want to hear or read the rest, or want to listen to it free of ads, visit reinventideal.com/stoic. The book is available on Kindle, paperback, and Audible at reinventideal.com/stoic.